Guess what? It's time for another tarot tag. Yay! Today we are doing the Spread Love tarot tag by, I've already forgotten her name. What is her name? Samantha Menzo. And she is new to me, and I am excited because she seems awesome. And her tag is all about tarot spreads. And for those of you who might not be a tarot aficionado and might not know, a spread is what the arrangement of where you put your cards and what the meanings are of the places that you put those cards. So, question number 1. What was the first spread you ever learned, and where did you learn it? I learned the Celtic Cross from Learning the Tarot by Joan Bennett. Question number 2. Have you created your own spread? What was its theme? Strangely enough, I have no idea how I want to answer this question because yes, no, maybe, kind of. So to explain what I mean by kind of, not maybe, I don't know, I'm going to talk about one of the readings that I have in my shop, which is the Creative Juice Boost Infusion reading. And this is a 6-card spread that has 3 cards that I pull from the Poet's Tarot and 3 cards that I pull from the Sacred Creative. Can't talk. The Sacred Creators Oracle. And I lay it out 3 and 3. And the way I read it is kind of more like the way you would read a line of Lenormand cards. So each of the spread positions doesn't really have a meaning or time frame or anything. I just kind of read it like a sentence. So I'm kind of maybe in the sense of it's a spread because I lay it out the same way every time, but since I don't have spread meanings on the ones that I do myself, it's kind of not a spread too because it's a little more freeform than that. It just has a hard limit of okay, I'm pulling 6 cards for this. Number 3, how many cards do you like to have on average in your spreads? I feel like with most of the spreads that I like, it's somewhere in the 6 to 10 range. Number 4, what is your favorite or most used spread and why? And where can we find it if we can find it somewhere? So I still really do like Celtic Cross. I genuinely do. I know a lot of people move away from that, but I really like it, especially when I'm doing readings for other people that are written. I find it's just it's solid and it gives me the answers I want, so why not use it? When it comes to other spreads, I know I've used New Age Hipsters, full moon and new moon spreads a couple of times. I think I've used Athene's new moon and full moon spreads a couple of times. I really, really love Sasha Graham's 365 Days of Tarot spreads. I tend to be very not consistent with the spreads I use. If I have a question and I want to find a spread that works well for that question, I just go on Pinterest and search a lot of the time to see if I can find a spread that suits my needs. And a lot of the times, I use that spread once and I never use it again. And I have long forgotten about who made it or what it was, and that tends to be very typical of how I use spreads. It's just okay, I need a spread for this. What's the universe going to give me? But in terms of what I have memorized, the only thing I have memorized is Celtic Cross. None of the other spreads I've ever used I've ever memorized. So I guess that one's my favorite. Number 5, has there ever been a spread that hasn't worked for you like you'd hope? Yeah, all the time. I think when a spread doesn't work, there are a lot of factors that can be involved. Sometimes it's just the question that you're asking and the spread that you've picked don't work together, so the cards, when you pull them, don't make sense. Sometimes it's just your attitude that day. I know there are times where I think I'm going in for a reading and I'm not in the headspace I need to be in to be able to do a reading. So once I flip those cards, nothing makes sense because not in the headspace to read. But most of the time when a spread doesn't work for me, it's usually a me thing. And sometimes I will try that spread again, and if it will work, and sometimes it won't. But I don't dwell on it at all. I just move on, and it's okay. Number 6, what's your best advice for beginners when it comes to tarot spreads? My advice would be to experiment. Just because you learned how to read one spread doesn't mean that you are tied to that spread forever. Try new things. You might find that you like new things. Or you might find that you like the original spread you learned, but try doing it different ways and see what that brings you. And that is it for the spread glove. Let me know if you did this tag down in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow. Love your faces. Bye!